Yo, 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 yo.
Yo.
No matter what, we can't get this dude to show up on time.
Ooh, what are you talking about?
What do you mean? What am I talking about? We'd already started the intro when you came in.
Bro, here you go.
Just show up on time. Right. Had I already started the countdown before he came in?
Here we
Am I
go.
making it up?
Here we go.
I'm not making it up. Here's the thing. Here's the beauty of being me. I don't have to make anything up. I just, give you the real as promised. Anyway, this is the Collective Podcast. I don't know about this lighting, dude. I feel like the lighting is wrong. I look blue or something, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Brianna, can you turn the hall light off? I don't think it worked. I don't think it works.
You Mr. Technology. I thought maybe that was just some new Disney
Wait,
stuff.
Is that fine?
Yeah, you less blue now.
I'm less blue. All right, Brianna, can you turn?
No, I don't really see. It might be a tint coming from, what is that on the side? Is that a door next to you?
So you got a blue light or something going on?
I don't have a blue light though. Yeah, turn that back on, Brianna. I don't know what it is. Just turn it back on.
I'm busy.
Just turn it back on and then you're excused.
Light off or make it orange. You already are white.
Oh boy.
Make that brown.
I did that, but that didn't do it.
It's too bright. You don't have a
but
lot
that
of
didn't
Oh, that helps. Now you're yellow.
like your sweater. He was already yellow.
Right.
I don't know. Something is wrong. Like I can't go through this whole podcast with the lighting wrong. Anyway, people are here, so let's get to it. All right. Yeah, stop. All right. Shout out to my partners here. We got Saucier Senior to my left, and then below us, we have Trey Hop. He's the opposite of Ashanti. He's always there when you call, but he's never on time. So, yeah, there you go. There you go. I had to think about it, though. I had to think about it. Yo, it's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a podcast to step to, thinking how many weeks shows you slept through. Time's up. I'm sorry I kept you.
Hey, he's been doing his homework.
We back.
For 3 weeks in a row, he just messed it all up.
He's flawless today.
This is episode 51 of the Collective Podcast. Dietrich said I turned into a smurf. I don't know what's happening. Like, I'm very confused. I feel like the lighting is off. I feel like I'm in a tunnel or something. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But anyway, episode 51. Shout out to Dietrich. What up? Shout out to my guy, Simeon Henderson, who's a friend of the show. He's actually been on the show before. Simeon, Mr. Chicago. He sent over this hoodie. Now, normally, I mean, you guys know how I feel. Let's just say you know how I feel about Kobe and how I don't feel about LeBron. But when people do these mythical paintings and portraits of them together, I'm generally not moved, but he took the time to actually create this and send it to me. So I'm going to go ahead and wear it on today's podcast.
Can you get it closer so I can see?
Oh, yeah. One sec. Actually, what I'll do is I'll just share the picture he sent. So then I don't have to come in closer. But let me shout him out real quick. And shout out to our viewers. Hello, viewers. How you doing today? Glad you came to check out episode 51 of the Collective Podcast. We are 1 week away from the 1 year anniversary. 1 year anniversary. 1 year anniversary.
Yeah.
Shout out to us, right?
Yeah.
1 year.
Shout out
Right.
to
What room are you in? You got light and it's gray. What room are you in?
Who, me?
Uh-huh.
I'm in the closet. This is the Raider room, man.
That's the Raider room?
This is the Raider room.
Oh, okay.
My TV used to be back here.
You said what did?
My TV used to be back here.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha.
So it looks different. Now
Yeah, I was like, I haven't seen that room.
Same one. Just rearranging stuff. Wow.
Your glamour light fell, huh?
Man.
Ah, man.
I've never even seen one of those. Can you flash it again?
Right.
Hey, let's all right. So we have a guest coming. We have a guest coming today. We have Lance Carter, who is finishing up a call. He said he'll be here in a few. He actually texted me on time, which is interesting. So he texted me at noon before Trey came on and said he would be late. Trey, on the other hand, we just always know. So real talk, that's why I added the 30-second countdown. Because when Trey tries to make it by noon and doesn't, by the time the countdown is over,
I started watching it at 26 seconds. And that means you just didn't click me into the show for 4 seconds.
That's not what that means.
I saw from 26 down.
Which means you were late.
Oh. But
right?
I can't see the countdown until you click me in the show.
Which means you were late, right? Because when I started the countdown, you hadn't clicked in yet. And that's the thing. As soon as you clicked in, I let you in.
No,
come on, Trey. You know he on share. Trey, he's on sharecropper time. If you 15 minutes early, you 30 minutes late.
Right, exactly.
Well, then what do you call being on time? What do you call being late? Being dead? Like what is that?
Messing with you.
Just out.
Being on time is 15 minutes late.
Okay, well that's not how it works here, and I know that's not what you teach.
Unless you're repping the game
or coaching, right?
Hey man, you guys don't do this to run a company.
Hey, what's up? Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you,
sir.
And
what's up, brother?
Your voice is definitely relief from Trey's lies. So we're gonna move on to you and introduce you. All right. So again, I'm AC from LA, and I'm gonna fix my camera while Lance introduces himself. Rod is to my left, Trey is below him, and then I want to introduce my man, my mellow, Lance Carter. Get on the mic because you know you eat jello. All right. So Lance is someone that I met through lacrosse, and we're like when he was out here in California, we were like. When I met him, we were like 2 of 7 black people in lacrosse out here total. And I was like one of 3 officials. And then he was like one of 4 players and skeptical because, I'm from here and I'm black. So he gave me the side eye. But ultimately, we wound up being on the same page. He let me into the club. But I want Lance, I invited him here so that he could talk about his journey through lacrosse, what his dad has done for lacrosse, what he's done for lacrosse, what lacrosse means really to the U.S., but also I want him to talk about what it means to the DMV area and how things are coming along in California and all of that. Just Lance Carter, take it away.
Hey man, I appreciate the intro. By the way, we was started off on the wrong page because of the calls you were making during the game, but we'll get to that at another time. But no, all seriousness, I'm Lance Carter. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. Grew up playing the game of lacrosse. Lacrosse is, a pretty big sport here in Maryland, and it trickled into the inner cities of Baltimore. So the generations before me, my dad and people from my family, they played it, in the local Baltimore City neighborhoods. And so, I kind of got born into the game, as you would say. They say they gave me a stick when I came out the womb. That's what I was told. I grew up in Baltimore. Lacrosse has kind of just been in my blood ever since day one. I've had the privilege of playing, obviously high school, college at a high level, professional. And, that's what I do full time, training kids. I work for a nonprofit organization and I run my own lacrosse company. So, I'm excited that you guys are having me on, and I'm, eager to share my journey and my knowledge in the game of lacrosse.
Okay. So something happened to AC, but for all my non-DMV people out there, tell them how to correctly say Baltimore, Maryland.
Baltimore, Maryland. Like I just
There
said.
you go.
Those
are for the non-DMVers out there.
Yeah, you hear, Baltimore, sometimes I got to clean my act up depending where I'm at. I'll say Baltimore, but everybody knows Baltimore, Maryland. So
there you go. There you go.
Yeah, that's a fact.
He's straight from the DMV. I like that.
For sure. And just to be clear, DMV and Maryland, DMV and Baltimore don't claim each other, just to put that out there.
Right.
So,
right.
DMV, they separate themselves. Baltimore separate, and people are like, well, isn't Baltimore and Maryland? But it's just two different worlds. So that's just how that is.
It is. I lump them together, but it is.
Yeah, for sure.
It's completely different. I lived in DC for almost 20 years. It's completely different, like night and day.
Yeah, it's mutual respect, though. I love DC. I love the DMV area, so for sure. Yeah. But thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get the connection out of the way. Let's see. There's a lacrosse program at a Division I lacrosse program at a historically Black college or university. Can you tell us about the one that I'm talking about?
You're referring to Hampton University?
Yeah.
If I'm correct. Yeah. So so Hampton University is currently the only Division I men's program. There is a Division II program, UDC, coached by Roger Colbert. He's a good friend of mine, and also Dell State. There are also two Division I HBCU women's programs, one at Dell State and one at Howard. But Hampton University started off as a club organization, like a club team for the school. Started by my dad. This kid Michael, who was he was one of the people who started the club team, and he got in contact. Well, he actually passed away, and then my dad came down. His mother reached out to my dad, and my dad came down and ran the club organization. He used to drive down from Baltimore to Virginia like every weekend, and coach the program. And then he ended up moving down there and taking a teaching job after he retired from the fire department. And then he ended up, continuing to build the club program. And then Hampton University decided to transition into Division I. I think this was in 2016, if I recall. And then they became the first Division I HBCU on the landscape. And so they've been around since 2016. And after I left California, I moved back here to the East Coast, where I was assisting my dad for 3 years, helping him build a program. And he retired about two summers ago. And Chaz Woodson, who is now the head coach there now. And they're not playing this year because of COVID. So, they'll be back going forward, playing fully Division I next year.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. I remember where I was. Well, I remember where I was when I heard about Hampton going D1, but then I also remember being in a Buffalo Wild Wings out there in I was in Hampton. I was actually in Hampton, and the there was a picture up of the team, and I think there was a jersey and a stick, and I sent you, like, I was so excited. So I sent the info to you. I also sent it to Rodney, who went to Howard, just because he has love, obviously, for the region, and he likes the game of lacrosse. So that was a moment for me, because I know you so well, and to have that attached to you, well, attached to your dad, and by extension attached to you, was really exciting for me. Someone who absolutely loves the game of lacrosse. So you talked a bit about your journey leaving here and going back to the East Coast. Can you talk about how you found yourself in California and what it was like being here, and what lacrosse was like when you got here and what it was like when you left? So for those of you wondering, no, he's not giving me a stone face. He is frozen. So shout out to Anthony Cobbs, who is generally a guest host. He just said, "Yo, afternoon, fellas. Yo, afternoon, fella." So he dropped off. He'll likely be back. I wanted to do a lyrical breakdown today, but we have Lance, and then next week, scheduled. We have the great Art Thompson III, legendary journalist in California, used to write for the Orange County Register, lives in Long Beach. He's also an assistant coach on the Long Beach Poly women's basketball team. Good friend of mine, good friend of Rod's, good friend of my man, my mellow Thaddeus Massey. He'll be on next week with Kristan Johnson, if all goes according to plan. And you guys know Kristan Johnson, a UCLA Bruin, also legendary high school basketball player, straight out of Crenshaw High School, following his dad both at Crenshaw and at UCLA. But Lance is back. So Lance, I don't know if you actually heard my question. Did you?
I'm sorry, I didn't get the last part. Sorry for the cutout.
Oh, yeah, no problem. So can you mentioned that you left California and went back to the East Coast. Can you tell us what brought you to California and how things were here for you, and how lacrosse was when you got here, and then how lacrosse wound up by the time you left? Because you did leave it better than you found it. Thank you for that.
Oh, that's a fact. So I was at Salisbury University, Division III powerhouse on the Eastern Shore. I was there. I played there for my last 2 years of college. We won back-to-back 2 national championships back-to-back. And then one of my college teammates, Eric Crum, Eric Crum, one of my close friends, he's from he's from Manhattan Beach. And so when I was getting ready to graduate, you know how it is, you're trying to figure out, what's your next move, kind of. And it was an opportunity for me to come out and coach in LA. He told me that he was building the Santa Monica Dragons, and it was an opportunity. So I went out there. I lived with him for the first 6 months. We lived at his parents' house, and we were just slowly building the Santa Monica Dragons youth lacrosse program. And the thing was, at that time in LA, they were starving for East Coast coaches from the East Coast who knew the game.
So look, guys, I figured out it's not the camera. It's not the lighting. It's the camera. Because if you notice, when I go away from the camera and then come back, it's perfect lighting and color for a moment, and then it goes blue.
And then it goes blue.
Yeah. All right. So you're figuring out your next move, Lance. The last thing that we heard, you're about to graduate. You're figuring out your next move, and then you had the opportunity to come with Eric to the Dragons, and then we didn't hear you after that.
Yeah, and so I came out here. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, cool, perfect. So I came out here with the opportunity. LA, the parents were, eager. They were wealthy parents, so they were this opportunity for us to have. What happened was we started to build the Santa Monica Dragons. It was just me and him. It started off as one team that me and him coached. And just the knowledge that we were passing to our kids, and they were getting so good. That first original summer and fall, we dominated the whole LA competition. We were beating everybody pretty bad. And then from that happening, those type of families were like, well, we want to be a part of that. So we started getting kids left and right. And then our program grew from 2 teams to 5 teams in like 2 or 3 months. So from that, we started the whole club lacrosse model, which is similar to AAU basketball. And then we just started to coach full time. We brought out some more of our Salisbury University teammates as coaches because we all shared the same coaching knowledge. And then from there, we just began to build, a powerhouse in LA youth lacrosse, where we were dominating all the local youth teams. And then we were going to tournaments. We would go to Vegas, Denver, San Diego, and we would go to these tournaments and completely dominate the competition. For me, it was a great experience because At that time it was kind of foreign to have lacrosse as a profession. So I was embarking on a new territory, which was a lane that wasn't, kind of out there yet. So I was making that my full-time profession, whether it was, coaching our youth teams, doing full-time training, doing camps, clinics, just, and at the time I was actually playing on the LXM Pro Tour too. So I had played some professional games as well. But I was just trying to kind of, you know, navigate my own lane in the lacrosse profession, which I thought was pretty cool. So, so the competition out of LA was really young. Coming from the East Coast where it's really strong, really young players, and really lacked a lot of knowledge. So the knowledge we were able to pass on made us successful so fast out in LA. So I really enjoyed my time coaching out there. I thought it was great. I learned a lot. I networked a lot. There's nothing wrong with living in LA, California for 3.5, 4 years. The people you meet, the experiences you have. I enjoyed it, man. It was definitely a different style of living and working too, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for that. I mean, I knew you had to go home at some point, but why did we lose you?
Without getting on to too many details, it's just sometimes business doesn't align. So when as things grow, egos, just the business, man. The business just got in the way. Um, you know, it kind of messed up some of our friendships, even though we're all tight now. But at the time, business friendship wasn't mixing. And then at that time, man, it was things that I wanted to do, but the organization who I was with was kind of pigeonholing me back from doing things on my personal end.
Right.
So at that time, I just felt like, that was the writing on the wall that it was time for me to go. So, and at that time, I had learned the business of club lacrosse, the business of building programs, the business of training kids. I understood the business of what it takes to actually make money in this game and, be a professional and do it full time. So with that, I already had ideas. I always had dreams of coming back to Baltimore. I didn't know when it was. But, I just figured that was the right time to go back and, transition to what I'm doing now.
So were you able to pivot once COVID hit and everybody had to stay in the house? Were you still able to figure out how to make money in lacrosse?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, but obviously, when things were shut down for a second, everybody kind of had to wait, and it sucked for us at first. My program, Baltimore Lacrosse Elite, and the organization I work for, Harlem Lacrosse, everything was on hold because you couldn't be on fields, you couldn't be around kids. All schools were closed. So it was just a tough situation. But me on a personal end, we were still able to work from my nonprofit I work for. We were still able to do a lot of virtual work. So I was still able to earn my, my day paycheck. But then on a personal end, after a couple months, parents were willing to come back out and train. I kept everything safe. I'm always masked when I train my kids. Socially distanced. The thing with lacrosse is you can train the kid, and you don't got to be in his face. You can be spread apart. So parents were okay with that. I was able to get back to personal training, and then once we got to around August, things were not as strict here. As long as you were following safety protocols, they would let you have group trainings and things like that. So we were able to start getting 5 kids at a time, 10 kids at a time, 15,
Okay.
get back to training. And then we were actually able to expand our program in August when we had full out tryouts, because parents were tired of their kids being in the house, and they were willing to, as long as we were following safety protocols, they were willing to get their kids out there. So, we were able to hit the ground running in August, and, besides a couple of adjustments here and there, things have been fine.
That's dope.
So Lance,
go ahead, Rod.
Oh, I was going to say, so when you got out here and your program started to take off, I'm sure that there were some other teams who already thought they were the team to beat. And when you started smashing those teams, how did those other coaches embrace you, or were you getting complaints? Because it's bad enough you were growing in popularity, But at the same time, when you start winning like that, and you really start handing people their hat, that breeds a lot of jealousy. So how did the coaches and I'm asking this question because lacrosse on the West Coast is not a sport that many kids of color play. So how did the coaches embrace you or not embrace you once you really started rolling?
That's a great question, man. So yeah, when we first started doing well in the Santa Monica Dragons, man, it was you talking about Cali, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So so when we first started, we got a lot of hate off the break. We got a lot of hate.
Yeah.
We got accused of stealing kids. People would talk down on our program. If kids were interested in playing for us, they would, just talk crazy about, my partner Eric Crum and how we do things. And but that just came with the territory. And then for us, like I said, we came from a strong college program where we won back-to-back championships. So we just took that same mentality of, you know, when you're the best, you're gonna get a lot of hate, but when you're the best, I mean you're doing the right things,
Exactly.
Right.
So for us,
You got haters, you're doing the right thing. Exactly.
yeah, so for us, we just kept that same mentality and we kept grinding and we kept working and our dream was to, have the most successful program there is. And now with me being a black coach, you get a lot of side eyes or like who you get a lot of looks. I got a lot of looks before the game, of underestimating my team or underestimating me as a coach. Because a lot of times, I'll be the only coach for my team. I would have all 20 of my boys, and we might have 2 or 3 black kids and the rest of white kids. So they like, oh, this is their coach, or you know what I mean. So a lot of times I would get those nonverbal signs, but to me, I think it's
And they
funny
don't want to
because
lose to you.
yeah, but it's
Not
funny
in this
because
sport.
yeah, but to me, it's like it's nothing that they can do, because
Right.
I already know my kids are already better. I know that for a fact, and if their kids are not up to that level, if their kids are up to the level, we're gonna have a great game. Cool. I'm not afraid of losing. You know what I mean? But if their kids are not up to that level, I knew we were going to smash them. So, for me, just going out there and just being respected as a coach. One from the East Coast because they already snubbed their nose up at us because I'm from the East Coast.
Right.
But then on top of that, I'm a black coach too, so they like, that's a double no. So, yeah, so we got a lot of hate, man. And me being aware as a black coach, I know I have to prove myself to other coaches, to other parents, to my own parents half the time. You know what I'm saying? That I know what I'm talking about. So, that just came to the territory, but we embraced it, man. We embraced that hate for sure.
That's
Yeah.
good.
And they definitely watched I'm sure they were definitely watching the way you moved. They were probably constantly trying to figure out if your kids were too old, checking birth records, checking everything they could find to find a blemish to sew that up. Because,
Everything,
like
everything
you said
except
before,
saying, everything
right? Like
except
you said
saying,
before,
hey, they're
you
good.
you are one of only. I don't know many black lacrosse coaches. I mean, you can count them on one hand. And then on top of that, you're from the East Coast. So it's like, who is this new guy coming in here, you know, doing all this stuff? And we've been dominating for years. He got to be doing something wrong.
Yeah, for sure, man. And then our team, the Dragons. I know AC will let you know when he hop back on, but we were flashy too. We came on when we first had created the team. They had the Seahawks colors. The
Mhm.
Seattle Seahawks. So that bright green and that blue and that gray. You know what I'm saying? We had bright green gloves, bright green helmets. Like,
Woo.
yeah, all uniform down. Like, we came out making a statement. So you coming out looking like that, and then you coming out smashing, and then it's Santa Monica. So y'all know Santa Monica lacrosse. It's
Right.
real, has a reputation of being already like kind of stuck up. But
Right.
mind you, our kids, regardless of how they are personally on the field, they played a different way. So they played
Right.
with a chip. They played aggressive. They played hard. You know what I'm saying? So you got these Santa Monica kids essentially getting on the field and scoring 20 goals and then knocking all your kids out and then playing a real physical style. And then you got, some of these a-hole coaches, at the time, man, I was young, arrogant, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, I used to not lose my temper, but, I would kind of, talk a little, not talk, I don't want to say talk trash, but like, yeah, I was just kind of arrogant, I'd be
Right.
arrogant to other coaches, arrogant to the refs, and which was, as a young coach at the time, I'm able to grow and mature. But and then you winning, so you just get so built up with ego. You know what I mean? Like, so that's just how it was, man. So I definitely I had to do some maturing, but that's just the attitude and how we took it on when we first started.
Yeah. I can just imagine how that went.
So let me add on to one thing, and I've been here the whole time. I've just been trying to figure the camera thing out, and
You're still
camera, well, and it is the camera, so it is what it is. You guys are not blue, so that's key. So the other thing, the entree of the Santa Monica Dragons, and then of course with thank you, with Lance with them, the knock was they're thugs, they're violent, they hit too hard, all of these things that they play a physical game, but they play a legal physical game, so that's okay.
Right.
Yeah, and it wasn't for the faint of heart, but I would say that more so than just the coaches that had problems, it was the entitled parents that did a lot of. Go ahead, Lance.
And honestly, I mean, and to be honest, like, and I'm so glad you said that, because teams used to hate playing us. Like, one, they knew that they were going to lose, but it wasn't like that they were going to lose. It was how they were going to lose. Like, we would, like he said, be physical with the teams, and then on offense, it's not like we were just some rough team. You got kids out there shaking kids, scoring like. I mean, half the games would be blowouts. Like, we would have to pull our kids back from not scoring 15, 20, beating a team by 15, 20 goals a game. So, we learned a lot, but also I think we definitely raised the level of play in LA. To raise the level of lacrosse play in LA for sure. That whole era that we were there. That no doubt.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So what do you feel like when you came to California? What do you feel like the kids were missing when you first started working with them? After being on the East Coast, what did you feel like the West Coast kids were missing?
IQ, IQ of the game, knowledge of the game. The thing about the LA kids, a lot of them are a lot more athletic. They're able to be outside 11, 12, 10 months a year. Well, it's really 12 months a year. You know what I'm saying? But, a lot of them are more athletic, better athletes. But the thing about lacrosse is the IQ of the game and the stick skills. It's where they are way behind on the East Coast kids, because a lot of East Coast kids, this is their bread and butter. Lacrosse a lot of times is a generational game. It's a family game that's being passed down. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. So over here on the East Coast, it's a lot more skilled and technical. On the West Coast, it's a lot more free flowing. So I think the lacrosse IQ and just knowing how the game is played is really what was lacking on the West Coast kids.
So we have a question from the viewers. Dietrich wants to know what age lacrosse starts at, because I guess he missed you saying that you came out of the womb with a stick. So holla at him, Lance.
Yeah, so I mean, to be honest, like, as soon as the kid is old enough to hold a stick, you can introduce him to the game. Just getting proper hand placement on the stick. So I would say the youngest, if it was me personally, I would say around 6, earliest is 6 years old, 7, to really like be coordinated enough to do stuff. Now, there are some kids who are 5 years old who can, kind of pick up, catch, throw, and do all of that. Just come some of the basics, but even still, like, they're still developing. So I would say the perfect time, I would say 7 is where they'll probably be able to do everything, with equipment. But as soon as they can hold a stick and carry the ball, I would introduce it to them, as early as possible.
Yeah. Okay. Facts.
Jimmy,
Um,
Jimmy Mack has a question too.
yeah, we know about this. Oh my, they're aggressive. Shout out to Anthony Cobbs. Jimmy Mack. Where'd it go?
There it is.
I guess I'm playing musical chairs. All right, there it is. There it is.
What years were you coaching?
Out here.
I was coaching, I want to say 2000. I came out there the summer of 2013, and I left the fall of 2017. So about 3.5 years, about 3.5, 4 years.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, it was a good run, man. It was a good run. I had a great time.
And now, how many kids do you have in your program now?
So here in Baltimore, I have about, we have 3. So we have a high school team. I want to say close to about 80. We have about close to 80 kids playing for us, but we have a lot of kids that train with us. So we got close to 100 kids in totality. You know, if you think about playing tournaments or just training with us. So we got close to 100 kids.
Oh, sweet. That's dope.
That's wonderful.
Congrats on that, man. That's awesome.
And that's
lacrosse is so big on the East Coast, man. My college roommate played, and that's when I first got introduced to it. His parents, I know, didn't want him playing. My roommate Joe Isaac, and he would hide his equipment in my closet whenever they were coming from Virginia Beach. He'd be like, "Hey, my mom and dad downstairs. Throw the stuff in your closet." Have his, his helmet and his sticks and everything. I'm like, "Hey, man, go ahead, just whenever they show up." But then, after going to the stadium and just peeping it out a few times, I'm like, man, those dudes hit.
But what's confusing for me about that story, Rod, is that you were with Dr. J trying out for the ABA, and his son was playing lacrosse back then. So I know that you were introduced to it then. So to say that it was with Joe Isaac is confusing because when y'all had the afros, man, you saw Dr. J's son, right? Come on, man. So Lance, what's so you said Baltimore Lacrosse Elite, right?
Yes, sir.
So tell us about Baltimore Lacrosse Elite, and then so that's your program, right?
That's me, my personal program. Yes.
Right. So tell us about your program. Also tell us a bit about the nonprofit you're affiliated with, and then tell us what success looks like for you with Baltimore Lacrosse Elite.
All right, cool. So I'll do nonprofit first. So I work for Harlem Lacrosse, nonprofit organization, based out of New York. We're in 5 cities total. So it's a Harlem Lacrosse brand. It's in New York City, Boston, Philly, Baltimore, and LA. So there are in 5 cities. Nonprofit organization that partner with schools in those cities that offers academic mentoring, social emotional development, obviously athletics through lacrosse. So a lot. So pretty much based out of these partnerships with the schools, a lot of the program is done after school and as well as on the weekends. And at each school, there's a program director who runs that school's lacrosse program through Harlem Lacrosse. So I am the boys program director here. I was at Commodore Middle School, but we just added a high school. So I'm the high school boys director at Ace High School here in Baltimore through Harlem Lacrosse. So it's been great working for this organization. This will be my 3rd year after this summer. It's been a joy for me. One because it actually puts me in the school system too, because I'm in a school every day. Obviously, and then who doesn't? I'm free to still continue to coach lacrosse. That's basically what I do. But besides from that, I'm able to have a relationship with my players and with their families, and kind of shape them towards, now that they're in high school, shaping them towards if they're going to go to college. Coach, well, maybe I don't want to go to college. Maybe I'm going to go to the military or do a trade. You know what I mean? So Harlem Lacrosse, the organization, is now helping create more opportunities outside of just going to college. But it's all centered, through the kids playing lacrosse for the program and at the school. So it's been great, man. Harlem does some great work in the communities. And I'm just glad to be, a small part of what they're doing.
Have you been asked to work any? Coach any higher level schools like college or anything like that? Club teams?
Yeah. So I did coach college. I coached when my dad was at Hampton. When I first came home, I coached for him for 3 years. So I used to split my time from Baltimore to Virginia. I mean, I was really busy. But yeah, I did all the recruiting those 3 years. A lot of the offensive game plans. I probably missed out of those 3 years. I probably missed maybe 2 games that I couldn't make because I had a conflict with work. Um, Obviously, I couldn't make a lot of the practices. But I went to majority of practices like daily leading up to a game or something like that. So that was my experience coaching college. I had been offered to coach at other colleges, but just after that experience, I'm just kind of, I'm not gonna say I'm turned off from college, but I don't think it's for me right now.
Right.
Like your career is in the hands of 18 and 21-year-olds. Not saying there's nothing wrong with that, but it would have to be the perfect situation for me to coach in college. And right now, I get more fulfillment out of, training the youth, coaching the high schools, and getting them to that. And I have more control over, the outcome of what I'm doing. So
That's right.
yeah.
Can you still get out and play? Can you still?
For sure. Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. Don't get it twisted, man. I don't play as much as I used to, obviously, because I just, a lot of times when men's leagues are going on is, same time as a youth game or something like that, So,
Right.
but no, I've been getting back into playing a lot, probably over this last year. I actually played a box game, an indoor game last week. So yeah, I still got some juice. So I'll be out there this summer, cutting up a little bit. I have to play in the Masters leagues though, the 30 and over. So, I try to stay away from the young college boy game. I might get in the college boy game here and there, but they can have, and I don't got nothing to prove.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right. So tell us about BLE.
Oh yeah, so BLE, it's my baby, my brainchild. So I created it when I came home from LA. This is one of the reasons I wanted to come home because I wanted to create a lane, create a high level lacrosse lane for Baltimore City. So we got a lot of grassroots organizations here, which is all great. I grew up in a Black Slacks, which is a grassroots organization here in Baltimore. But to me, the level that was missing was the elite level or club lacrosse level, which is, like I said, which is what AAU basketball is. So in Baltimore in general, there's no, I shouldn't say that. There's a lot of club teams available, but for the kids, and specifically the city community or surrounding communities, for them to go play on some of them club teams, is $2,500. You know what I'm saying? Or it's either super expensive or they're going and they're not having a great experience, and they can't keep playing grassroots here because they've outgrown it. So I came home with the knowledge that I had, like, well, this is the level that's missing. This is, something that I have an expertise in, why not? So my partner, Kenny Brown, whose son at the time was in 7th grade, he had a group of kids at that level. And he was like, well, why don't you start it with my son and his age and we can recruit players. So we recruited players at that age. We had about 19 on the first team. We went out there. Majority of the team is black, but it's all black kids who play at a high level. I mean, we had white kids on the team too. So, but majority of the kids were black. Coaches obviously were black, and most black teams are not known to play at a high level or have coaches at a high level. So we went out there our first tournament and we just smashed everybody. And yeah, we went like
That's Lance's MO, y'all. That's his MO.
The dream team.
Yeah. We went out there. I mean, we went out because nobody ever heard of us. We coming out there, like, oh yeah, we'll see what's up with this, Baltimore lacrosse elite team. Yeah, we go out there and we just, man, I mean, nobody saw it coming. By the time they figured it out, we were raising the trophy. So so we did well, and I was like, man, well, we really got something. So we come back in the fall. So that was in the summer. We came back in the fall season. won another championship. We went 3-0 that tournament, and so now we started getting a little buzz. We started getting a little buzz in the city. People know me here in Baltimore, obviously, and so I'm getting more interest in what we're doing. But we're only sticking with one team. And then that following summer, we kept that same team together and we played in 2 tournaments. So we lost in the championship and then we won. So now we have a reputation of now. At that point, we had a reputation of being a winning program, even though it was with one team, based out of Baltimore. So, with that, we started to get some hate too, of course. But we got a lot of interest and a lot of people wanted to support our program. Um, so for me, it's been continuing to grow the program. And like I said, over in August when we had tryouts, we were able to grow and add a middle. So now those kids who originally started with us, they're in high school now. They're now high school freshmen, getting ready for their first spring season actually. And now we have grown and had a middle school team and now a U11 team. So our program has grown. We are promoting diversity, and when not just like a couple kids. Right now all of our coaches are black. Majority of our kids are black. We do have white players and Asian players, and our team is very diverse. But we are definitely everybody see how we're coming. It don't got to be explained. But yeah, so we're just trying to show another side of lacrosse at the elite club level. That black play. You know, blacks can be not only coaches but owners of clubs, organizers, um, along with players. So, BLE's been great, man. It's been great. Something that I continue to work on every day. We're not fully funded like a lot of these other clubs who have these big budgets. We're still working to, get that and get the financial backing. But we'll continue to get that if we keep growing and building our business. So, it's been a lot of hard work, but it's been successful in my eyes so far.
That's good. That's good, man. Congrats on all that, man.
Yes, sir.
No, I appreciate it.
Now,
it, man.
are you grooming any coaches under you to kind of expand?
Absolutely. So my original partner, he has 3 sons. He has one that plays at Hampton actually. His other 2 sons play for me, but his middle son, which is the one I said is a freshman now, he just made varsity. So he's pretty busy with his 3 sons. You know what I mean? So I've brought in my other partner, Nick Hazel. He's been like my day in and day out guy, handling the daily operations. He's also coaching with me. One of my high school teammates, me and him were like the 1-2 punch. He's coaching with me. We got on another young coach, Coach Kier. He's on with me. So we have about 4 or 5 full-time guys, and then we always get coaches that want to come volunteer. So we've been real selective about who we bring on because coaching is important. They help bringing on people that we can trust that's going to carry the mission and continue to grow the program. So yeah, we got some coaches right now, and we'll have some more coaches in training for sure.
Awesome.
Tell us about Black Slacks.
Black Slacks, man. So that's what I grew up in. Organization. My dad, Lloyd Carter. My dad, who was Lloyd Carter. Anthony Merck Ryan, and Coach Donnie Brown. They all started in the city youth program here in Baltimore City, called Black Slacks, Sticks in the Hood. So it's pretty much a place, for guys like us to play at that we didn't have to go into the counties or some of the other, white programs, and not get a fair shade or have to pay a bunch of money. And we just a lot of kids didn't have access to that. So, they kind of created, a grassroots kind of club program where we could practice together, do a lot of our summer workouts together, kind of play on tournament teams. We had an in-house league one summer, and, just kind of build a community of Baltimore lacrosse. So that was created, I want to say 2000 and I don't want to get the date wrong. But it was created by my dad and Coach Merck. They're transitioning right now. I know they're doing a rebrand right now, but they are some of the forefathers of Black lacrosse, and one of the first organizations that I know of, that was kind of majority Black, and created a opportunity for inner city kids in the game of lacrosse. And they all come from the 10 Bears tradition, which was the first HBCU program to have a lacrosse program, which is Morgan State. So that's the tree that they all come from.
Wow. Shout out to Morgan State. My mom went there her freshman year. And my dad talked her out of going back.
Smart man.
Wow. Thank you for that, Lance. Definitely appreciate you. Definitely appreciate you sharing. By the way, everybody, I had to switch cameras and I'm no longer blue. So there you go. I worked it out. But yeah, Lance, I don't know what the year was. I think you said 16, maybe. No, it had to be. Well, I don't know. Maybe it was 16, but I'm glad that we met. I'm glad that we connected. I'm glad that we found common ground, because I know I'm good for lacrosse out here, and you know that you were good for lacrosse out here. You're good for lacrosse in general, but you were really, really good for lacrosse out here, and you helped lacrosse get that bump. There's a misnomer that lacrosse is as fledgling as it was when I started officiating in 2008. Like, it is exploding out here. It is exploding on the West Coast, and that doesn't happen if people like, and it definitely doesn't happen in our communities if people like Lance Carter don't come out here. And obviously Rylan hasn't been on the show yet, but Rylan's got a story to tell also. And even though he's from upstate New York, he is a Terrapin, and he can share his journey. But if guys like you don't come and make it a point to get our communities involved, then our communities don't get involved. And Rylan's on right now. Okay, shout out to Rylan. Yeah, shout out to Rylan. I think he's gonna come on for a minute. Let's see if he comes on for a minute. But anyway, if people like you, and there aren't a lot of you guys that we know about, but if people like you are not doing what you're doing, Lance, then it dies, and you guys haven't let it die, and that is huge. And even in Baltimore, where lacrosse exists, like you're still needed to keep it alive in the community, right? So like it's huge. So we appreciate you. I definitely appreciate you taking the time to come on the show. You're welcome to come on anytime. Like, we had Anthony Cobbs on one time and told him he could come back whenever he wanted, and he comes more than Trey. Just kidding. Is Long Island not upstate? Did I say that wrong? My bad. I thought Long Island was upstate. But yeah, I know you from Strong Island, as they say, Rylan. Strong Island, Rylan. Yeah, Lance. So listen, thank you. You're welcome anytime. Also, you're welcome to stay. We're gonna talk about other things now. Like I think I've been calling this guy Steph Clutch Curry forever, and boy, did he make me look bad last night. And I know that Anthony Cobbs wants to talk about it. Look at this. So all right, so listen. So yeah, Lance, don't go anywhere. So listen, Rylan is not infringing on Lance. Rylan is just doing a little cameo. He's hopping on lacrosse legend. Man, this is amazing. Rylan, shout out to you. What up? I know you're probably out there in the freezing cold, and I know you only have a few minutes, so talk to us.
Well, I missed most of the show because I was on another meeting, but what do you want me to talk about? I'm open.
Run that resume first, so they know. I like to hear the resume, so run it again.
All right, so going back to high school, I was the first, and I'm originally from Long Island, New York, not upstate. Okay.
I thought Long Island was upstate. My bad.
That's okay. It's all right. It's cold everywhere here. So high school, I was the first All-American out of my high school. I was the first African-American All-American in Long Island, probably in the country at that time back in 77. So I'm dating my age right now. From there, I went on to Nassau Community Junior College because I didn't have the grades needed. I was the number one recruit in the country, went to Nassau, won 2 national championships, MVP, both national championships. Then I played on Long Island Lacrosse Club, which was considered like the best lacrosse club in the world, basically. I would say 70% of the guys on Long Island Lacrosse Club were Team USA players. So politics got in the way. I ended up getting frustrated. I played for a guy who started me in lacrosse at the age of 7, won more championships for him. And then once I got to the level, which is considered pro now, club back then, they put me on 3rd string. Me and 2 other brothers were on 3rd string. And we were always starters our entire life. At that point in time, I said, you know what? I'm done with New York. I'm going to California. I'm going to show them how lacrosse is played on the East Coast. I get out to California. And my first experience watching a lacrosse game just kind of blew me away. This guy who became friends with me took me to my first game, and walking up to the game, guys getting warmed up. Some of the guys are laying down in the middle of the field with cans of Bud in their hand. On the bench, instead of Gatorade, there was a keg of beer, and guys are smoking weed and stuff. I'm like, oh my God, if this sport is ever to grow and people saw it like this, it would never happen. So I got involved with a team called Orange County Lacrosse Club. Mostly guys from Long Island. We were the dominant team. We won, I think, like 3 state championships. Probably a third of our team was also U.S. lacrosse players that transplanted from the East Coast. And but we were beating teams like 22-3 and so on. Plus, we got some old school goons. These guys were just crazy, you know, dirty shots, spitting on refs, fighting with refs after games in the parking lot. It was just crazy. So I said, I got to change this. And somebody has said, why don't you become the vice president of the California Lacrosse Association? And I was like, nobody else wanted it. So I was like, yeah. And then the following year, the president resigned. So I became the president of the California Lacrosse Association for about 13 years. And I made a lot of changes to lacrosse in California because, you know, I wanted to get rid of the guys who were the intimidators, disrespecting the officials, things of that sort, and have the league just basically upgrade itself. So then I said, you know what? I need to lead by example. So I said, I'm going to start my own club team, which was called Malibu Lacrosse Club. And, you know, I was thinking about a name so people on the East Coast would recognize. So I'm like, you know, Beverly Hills Lacrosse Club, Hollywood Lacrosse Club, and I came up with Malibu. Then I said we need to find the best field. Pepperdine University overlooks the Pacific Ocean, unbelievable field. So we got that location. And I said we have to have the best uniforms. So I designed uniforms that were unique because when I first saw my first game, these guys were wearing, you know, different color pennies, different color socks, shorts. It just looked ridiculous. So we came out with very nice uniforms, and I said we got to find a sponsor and incorporate the organization so we can get donations and so on. I found Malibu Inn as our sponsor, and they sponsored us. They were on Pacific Coast Highway, and in the back they had a like a bar, like a beach type area where they would just put out a keg for us, and there'd be live music. So every team wanted to play us. So the way this whole thing really started was when we had our first game up at Pepperdine. One of the teams we were playing against, Old Mission Bay Athletic Club, Ambach from San Diego. They were the visiting team. They were on the other end of the field drinking their beers like they normally were doing, and we were doing our calisthenics, our line drills, and they were laughing at us. End of the game, it was like 24-5 or something like that. Then the second time we played each team twice, we go down there to play them. Now they're doing jumping jacks and line drills and so on. Then the following year, all the other teams started getting sponsors and so on. And that's really how lacrosse started developing on the West Coast. Then I took it a step further and I said, you know, because the college coaches hated playing against the club players. Why? Because we were all crazy. You know, we were grown men and just doing wild, crazy stuff. So I decided that I was going to merge the college all-stars with the club all-stars. Why? Because this was back in like 83. All right. The 84 Olympics were coming to Los Angeles. And myself and about 4 other people were reinstating lacrosse into the Olympics, the 84 Olympics, as an exhibition sport. And on top of that, we wanted to give back the medals to Jim Thorpe's family that were taken from him. So we included this name called Jim Thorpe Memorial Powwow and World Games. So I got lucky or whatever. Some people knew my reputation and asked me to get involved and do as much as I could. So my job was to organize the international teams coming. And back at that time, World Lacrosse, you had basically 4 teams. You had USA, Canada, England, and Australia. So I said to the group that I was with, it would be a good idea if we invited the Iroquois, because it's their game and they've never been invited to a international tournament before. So we got together. We met with some of the people up in the upstate New York, Oren Lyons, who's the chief up there, and a few others. And we put this thing together where the Iroquois came for the first time. They actually ran across country. We set up an Olympic village for them. They had the teepees, everything. I met with the Olympic Committee President, Peter Uberoff, who supported this whole movement. So I said, I also want to have a California team in these World Games to let the rest of the country know that there's lacrosse in California. So that's when I put together an all-star team consisting of club players from Northern California out to Arizona, collegiate players from Northern California out to Arizona. We had college coaches with club coaches. So we had tryouts. I think we had over 100 and some odd people come out. And then what we did, we brought that team to Vail, Colorado, to show the rest of the country that we have some lacrosse players. At that tournament at Vail at the time, and probably still is one of the biggest lacrosse tournaments in the country. It's on ESPN now. We lost to Long Island by 1 goal. We lost to Maryland Turtles by 1 goal in double overtime. And the other 3 games we had won. That showed people on the East Coast that there was like lacrosse on the West Coast, because they had no idea that we had so many talented players. After that, after the Olympics, the 84 Olympics, people just started coming out from the East Coast by the droves. Most of the players, recent college grads would come out, settle down in the Orange County area. That's where they started developing and coaching youth in high school. And then the club team started getting more advanced as I was the president of the club league. And that's really the start of how lacrosse really developed in California. We used to have state championships where we play against Northern California every year at the club level. And then it kind of went away. And then I'm still the president of the California Lacrosse Association with Anthony as my vice president. And we were playing against Northern Cal for the state championship, but Northern Cal decided they had more teams go CIF and they couldn't support the club league anymore. And now with the growth of CIF lacrosse in California, our league is still viable, which is called the Pacific Lacrosse League, PLL. Right now, because of the pandemic, everything's up in the air because they're pushing sports back. So you got some kids who are multi-sport athletes that won't be allowed to play lacrosse because football is a priority in sports in Los Angeles. So while out in California, so far as my resume, I was the head coach at UCLA, USC, Cal State Fullerton, Pepperdine, Occidental, Cal State Long Beach, UC Irvine, I also coached at Santa Monica High School. I've always been considered a rebuilder because I've rebuilt a lot of these programs. When I came to Santa Monica, their program was kind of brand new. They had 2 years, and they basically lost every game. And once I got there, my first year, we went straight to the state championship. My second year, we went to the state championship. Then they became CIF. For whatever reason, the new athletic director decided that they wanted to go in another direction with a different coach. So they did. They never saw another playoff game since then. I went from there to another program called Granada Hills. Granada Hills had never been to the playoffs before. I was told we had like 30 guys on the team. I get there, it was like 16. We ended up going to the playoffs for the first time, regardless. At that time, I was coaching Granada Hills in the morning at 6 a.m. in the morning, and then I drive down to Long Beach and was coaching Cal State Long Beach in the afternoon. So it was kind of crazy, but it was my passion. It's what I love doing.
Yeah.
From there, I went to St. John Bosco, and I'll never forget my first interview with him. I told the athletic director and the president of the school that if you hire me, and the reason I decided to go to St. John Bosco is when I was at Santa Monica, we played them. And they were like all football players, had absolutely no lacrosse skills. They just came out and just beat up on people. And I was like, you know what? I need athletes like that. So this opportunity came. I interviewed with him, and I told him at the interview, if you hire me, I guarantee you I'll get you to the state championship my first year. I don't know if we'll win it, but I'll get it. They said halfway through the season, they told me, they said, Ryan, when you said that, we looked at each other like, is this guy crazy? Sure enough, my first year, we went to the state championship. Second year, we went to the state championship. Third year, we won the Southern Cal championship and wasn't able to make it. So long story short, I moved back out to New York, where I took over my high school JV program. The high school varsity coach who's still there right now told me, look, your JV sucks, and because I'm taking all the players. So I'm just giving you a heads up. Well, my JV team, my first season there, we went 11-2. We beat 3 of the top Long Island teams. And once again, we were destroying teams by like 15, 20 goals. What's that? So, yeah. Am I still on?
Yeah, you're on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyhow, I stayed that year, and then I had an opportunity to go back to LA and become the head coach at Laguna Hills High School. This was the year before the pandemic. When I just before the season started, I came back to New York to visit my mom, as I normally do during the holidays. Found out her health was not good, and had to give up that opportunity at Laguna Hills High School.
Yeah, you're on.
Yeah. So anyhow, I stayed that year. Oh, this thing's echoing. Sorry about that, guys. So anyhow, I came back home. My mom wasn't doing good, and I decided to stay here in New York, where I am now, and I coach a high school girls program called Lou High. And in between that time, people from Panama had contacted me and asked me if I wanted to start lacrosse in Panama. So I got with World Lacrosse, and now we have Team Panama, which I'm the CEO, head coach, developing lacrosse in that country at this point in time, which Anthony will be assisting and helping out with training some of the officials. So the whole pandemic thing has put us almost a year behind, but we'll be looking at our first tournament in Florida Labor Day weekend, doing the Olympic-style 6v6 tournament. So if anybody knows of any Panamanian heritage players, let me know, and we'll get them on board. So that's my story, fellas.
Well, Rodney actually.
Oh, go ahead, AC.
Rodney actually founded Panama, so I'm sure that he's got some
Panamanian people.
Hey, so I'm just tripping off of how similar the stories are between Lance and Ryland. Like, from the beginnings, from both of them traveling to California from the East Coast, going back to the, leaving California, going back to the East Coast. And because Lance is significantly younger than Ryland, his story isn't even being finished written yet.
Right.
I mean, like, there's a chance that he may be working with World Lacrosse one day. We don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, but the trajectory is almost parallel.
Yeah,
So
Lance has contributed a lot in lacrosse. And there's some other things I still didn't mention in my resume.
He said we ran out of ink.
So real quick, and I'll be done with it. So I became the first African-American All-American out of Long Island. May 11th, there was a proclamation made in Long Island, New York, as Ryland Hugh Day. I'm the only lacrosse player in the country, in the world, to get a letter from the President of the United States in regards to my contributions to U.S. To lacrosse. I was U.S. Lacrosse Man of the Year 2016. I was inducted into U.S. Lacrosse Hall of Fame in 2016. And then they've actually had a parade for me here when I got back to New York. So that's my story. That's my history. That's my resume. And I'm just beginning.
So I just want to be clear to Ryland and Lance. If either of you or both of you come back to California, I will organize a parade. Like, if you guys want to come back and impact lacrosse some more. But Lance, when I know you know who Ryland is, but when you hear him talk through his life in lacrosse and you think about the fact that, you could double your, I don't know, like you really can have an entire life in lacrosse. Does that get you, like, that he's done it or he's still doing it? Like, does it get you excited to know that what you're building now could really, like, actually succeed you?
Yeah, definitely, man. I think one, people like Roland and Ryland. Sorry, Roland's my homeboy. Ryland, and then my dad and guys from his generation. The things that they did helped pave the way for me. You know what I mean? So one, I'm always appreciative of that, and to see that they've been able to do it for a lifetime, inspires me to keep pushing. And I think for me, it's just learning from their experiences and tying it to what we do today. Because today is a different era, whereas though you can make money in the game of lacrosse. It's just for whatever reason, us as Black people in the game of lacrosse think, and this is not all, I'm just saying certain people think that, you can only do it for the community, and you're wrong if you're trying to make money or make business from it. And it's not true. You can do both. You can, provide a good product and provide for your people and your community, as well as run a good business and, not only feed yourself, feed your family, and, help feed your staff. So, I'm excited, man. I want to, continue to push the envelope forward and, continue to open new doors for myself and, people coming behind me.
Awesome.
I think Lance makes a great point so far as able to make a living with lacrosse. When I turned 50, I was in corporate America for 30 years, and I just got burnt out on it. And I said, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm going to do what I love doing and follow my passion. And I was making a 6-figure income and talking to a couple of my friends, and they're like, well, Ryland, do what you love doing. You don't love doing lacrosse. I'm like, well, I got a 6-figure income here coaching. You're getting $3,000 as a stipend and so on. And they're like, well, do your camps, do your clinics, do the tournaments and so on. And that's what's happening now. And, the problem in our society is we tend to hold each other down. And instead of people like encouraging Lance and others that are trying to make a living through the sport, which everybody else is, and some of these people are making huge incomes. There's no reason why we can't do the same, as well as help out and grow it in our communities as well. And nobody should be talking down on that, because that's what America is about, is a land of opportunity. And, we've got all the non-tan people making tons and tons of money in the lacrosse community. And it's only going to get bigger because it's still the fastest growing sport in the world. So, I applaud Lance on putting together things to provide an income for him and his family. And there should be more Lances, there should be more me's, there should be more of us doing the same, because this opportunity is nationwide. And now, you know, I'm on an international level where it's international wide. And, you know, that's the next level I plan on taking my business to. So, you know, Lance, keep doing what you're doing, bro, and don't let nobody get in the way.
Appreciate it.
So thank you both so much. We have a question that's been sitting for the whole 38 minutes that Rylan went through his resume, and it is from Anthony Cobbs. They would like for Anthony and the audience would like for each of you to define clutch, because clearly I don't know what the hell clutch is, and we definitely learned that last night. So talk us through what clutch is to you. It doesn't have to be basketball, but just clutch in sports. Lance or Rylan go first, and then the other go second.
Let's see, clutch for me. I would have to say somebody that's. Oh, so we're talking in the realm of sports, correct?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You know, the player who makes the big plays at the right time, game-winning plays, game-changing plays, you know, always in critical parts of the game. Those are the clutch players. That's what a clutch player is to me.
So,
yeah,
you
pretty much
game-winning
clutch
and
player to me
game-changing
is your go-to guy.
Okay. So game-winning, game-changing, go-to.
You can count on.
Oh.
Game-winning, game-changing. Yeah, I would say game. I mean, because game-winning, yeah, everybody get caught up in a game-winning shot, game-winning goal. But, you know, a lot of times it can be the plays that lead up to the game-winning goal that a certain player may always make to change. So I think it's game-winning or game-changing in critical parts of the game.
Okay. And so you would say that not only the final 20 seconds of a game would be a critical part of the game, right? There are other critical parts of the game, correct?
Absolutely. I mean, think about, we have an example of a defensive back that makes an interception with 140 left on the game, but it's game closing, or, you know, changing the game. You know, that's a clutch play. It may not be at the end of the game, but that's a big play to, you know, in a critical part of the game. So that's just a small example. But yeah, I think that's my opinion.
Thank you. Rylan, you concur?
I agree 100%. Yeah.
Oh.
That clutch player is the guy who's pretty much dominating the game from the beginning to the end.
Oh, okay. And they can have off nights, right?
Yeah, of course.
For sure.
Exactly, because everybody's gonna have an off night. You know what I mean?
So like last night, I know y'all were talking about the Warriors, right?
Yes.
Last night, Dame didn't have a great game, but he hit clutch shots. He hit clutch threes in the fourth quarter when he needed to close the game. That's clutch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, there goes that argument.
Why?
Sorry.
We missed something?
Well, okay. So yes, let me give you background. The viewers know this, but let me give you background. So either on Cobb's podcast or Jimmy Mack's podcast, or it might have even been 1585, where they come together. The question was, what is clutch, or who is clutch? Who are the clutch players in basketball? And I argued Steph Curry and obviously Dame Lillard, but for different reasons. And they argued that definitely not Steph Curry, because he doesn't have game winners under his belt. And so they said yes to Dame Lillard because he's got 29. Well, 20 before last. Yeah, he's got 29 of those kinds of things since the 2012-2013 season. But his hands are bare. So my argument is, well, his hands are bare. So yeah, that's cool. He's got a lot of big shots. He's got a lot of game winners, but he doesn't have a lot of playoff game winners. But Curry does. And so I said Curry will set you up for the Klay Thompson winner or the Draymond Green floater that didn't go last night because of the charge. So it's been an ongoing thing where almost on every podcast, clutch comes up. Elaine hates to hear us talk about clutch, but because you guys are and by the way, Jimmy Mack and Anthony Cobbs both not only played college football, but played in the NFL. So we have people who played at the pro level. We have people who played high level college lacrosse or football and also in the pros. So they want your opinions. You know, clearly they want to shut me down, but when you come and say, yeah, Dame was clutch last night, but don't mention that Curry was also clutch until he wasn't, and he went 0 for 6 in the final 140. Yeah. So anyway, but yeah. And then of course we know the most clutch of them all, Mookie!
So let me ask y'all this question. Is LeBron clutch?
I think so.
All right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll put it like this. He's had clutch moments. I'll say that. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. Because I'm a hardcore Jordan Kobe guy. And that's no knock on LeBron. I think he's one of the greatest ever. But he won't be on my top list of clutch players, even though you can throw stats or whatever at me. At the end of the day, I go off of how I feel and what I see. So
right.
I agree with Lance 100%.
100% on that one.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen him be clutch in games, and then when it's time to be clutch at the free throw line, I've seen that a lot.
But and this is what I'll say about LeBron too. It's like, even if we are, everybody say like Kobe's clutch, right? But even on nights he's not clutch, he's trying to be. Like, he's trying to aggressively make the plays. We not recently, but we have seen LeBron like shy away from trying to make the clutch plays. You know what I'm saying? So maybe early in his career, obviously not maybe like the next like 5, 6, 7 years or whatever, where he's been dominating the league, but it has been times where he has kind of shined away from those moments. So, but
all right, thank you for that. Let's get caught up, because now we have an antagonist who has rejoined us, and so I got to get caught up on these comments. Yes, Anthony. Lance wound up at the same spot as. Oh boy, Lance wound up at the same spot as you. All right, let me finish talking before you talk. He's joined us. So here's the thing. Yes, Elaine, anyone can have a clutch play, but they may not be a clutch player. So my argument is that Dame Lillard is absolutely a clutch player, but he's not clutch in the playoffs. And he's not clutch enough in the playoffs. Let's go with that. He's not clutch enough in the playoffs. And Curry has been nothing but clutch all the time. Not last night, fine, whatever. All the time. All the time. But why are we still talking about this whole Curry thing? Now, this is hilarious. Cobbs is here now, but Curry is a clutch player, but he's not clutch in the clutch. Got it. You have to determine when the clutch is. See, you define the clutch as the final possession of the game for each team. But there are many more clutch moments than that. And see, you clearly don't have a clutch connection because you spin it.
Well, I like Lance's answer, but I think you got to add to it. They have to be given the opportunity, and they have to want to take the opportunity.
So you're talking about Magic's original criticism of LeBron James when he was passing off in the playoffs and losing?
Yeah, and I mean, and he still does it. You know, he made
it was like it was the first time he was in the playoffs. He was doing it. Like, let's go. Let's go, GOAT.
But, you know, Curry is willing to take it. He just doesn't always get the opportunity when Klay Thompson is on the floor. Like, they run the play because they feel that Klay is the most clutch on the team, which is not a knock on Curry. Klay is that dude. But you got to be given opportunity. So Curry doesn't always get the opportunity because they run the play for Klay. And I can remember back when Scottie Pippen got mad.
You can remember when Scottie Pippen was born, but go ahead.
He was mad because, you know, they called the final play for Tony Kukoc. But I don't disagree with that call because Tony Kukoc's skill set with what he can do with the ball was better than Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen can do everything. And this is what Steve Kerr just recently said about LeBron, but he doesn't have a go-to shot where at any moment he can just, you know, like Jordan had the post play and Kobe and Jordan both had the turnaround jumpers and Paul Pierce had the little swing through shot. LeBron doesn't have one of those. And so when it gets tight in a game, that last 2 minutes, he doesn't have something that he can rely on.
Sure he does.
What?
He could just go to the hole strong and like he does the whole game until the last 2 minutes.
But if you don't like shooting free throws, you're not going to the hole because chances are you may get fouled and have to stand on that line.
Listen, you know how many times people
and then you turn it into Nick Anderson.
Like LeBron is almost like the prevent defense. Sometimes it prevents you from winning. He'll do what he needs to do for 45 minutes, have 36 points, go into the hole, and then the last 3 minutes, like, nah, man, I ain't going in there no more.
That's what I mean. So you can't really call him clutch if he's gonna pass it away, even if it's a bad shot. I mean, clutch players even take bad shots.
Yeah.
To make sure, because like I used to tell people with Kobe, if he got the ball in the last 11 seconds of the shot clock, I wouldn't kick it to Luke Walton.
Yeah, when Kobe had Smush Parker and all them on the team, his bad shot was better than their good one.
That's exactly my point.
So, hey, Anthony, I got to get ready to run, man. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, thanks for coming on, Rylan.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Good
day,
guys.
All right.
Yeah, salute. All right, so before I introduce our guest host, Anthony Cobbs, I got to respond to his brother from another mother again. All right, so listen, bro. I don't know why we keep doing this. So LeBron has also A&R'd his entire career. He keeps putting together super teams. And so he keeps being in the greatest position possible to take and make and pass and da-da-da-da-da. Like, he's literally played more minutes than anyone in the history of the game. I hope he made more than Kobe and Jordan combined. Now, Jordan put some teams together too. Kobe never did. But I'm just saying, like, okay, so what? He's also missed more than both of them combined. So how about that? Put that in there too. He's also missed more than both of them combined.
And those,
welcome to the show.
When we see those little stats, they're like made up Facebook memes. I mean, like, the eyes don't lie.
Yeah, Jimmy Mack, you a Facebook meme, homie.
I mean, the eyes don't lie. We've seen LeBron over and over again. I don't care how many times people put up these little stats saying LeBron got more game winners than Jordan. And the tape don't lie. We know that dude does not like shooting in the last 5 minutes. They didn't just, I mean, the whole world didn't just start lying on this dude and putting pictures of the, like the change for $1 meme where it was missing the fourth quarter. They didn't make that for no reason. The dude had a reputation because he won't take shots. The tapes don't lie. So, he's not a clutch player. He makes big time shots. But most superstars make big time shots. That's why they're superstars. If you go on an 8-0 run, they can turn around and hit a three and kill the momentum and swing it back. So that's what separates them from regular good players.
Great point. And I just want to introduce one more point before I introduce Anthony Cobbs. LeBron James is 0-1 in the finals on non-super teams. I just want to throw that at you. 0-1 on non-super teams. And whatever the rest of his record is on super teams that he put together. Anthony Cobbs, welcome to the show. Steph Curry was not clutch last night down the stretch. I've already said it, so I've stolen all of your thunder.
No, I want to say thanks to Lance and then Rylan for educating us on lacrosse. I might want to put my big old 6'3", 200-pound son in lacrosse if he can avoid getting a concussion. That's why my question was, is it dangerous to the head? But aside from the fact, clutch, I appreciate Lance's description of the person that comes through in important parts of the game. But I'm still stuck on the part of if I'm Dame, Curry, Clay, Jordan, Kobe, LeBron on my bench, who am I looking at to take this last shot? And I'm looking at from history standpoint, and I'm looking at 3-point percentages. I'm looking at who's the best shooter, all these different, who likes this moment, who wants this moment. And who wants this moment to me is clutch. I think the guys who relish in that moment. Curry is a phenomenal Hall of Fame, first ballot, great player. But since he has not put together some memorable shots that put dudes away, put teams away, like I got the field versus Curry in the 3-point contest this weekend at the All-Star game, because whenever it's for the money, it's been Clay or somebody else. Even at the All-Star game charity event, he missed his shots for the person to win money. We're like, come on, Curry, we need the half-court shot. And he didn't hit the half-court shot. He's hitting shot. He's shooting and walking away, coming up short. But no, man, there's nothing against Curry as a great player. I'm a fan. But he has not made the shot that kind of defines you as, oh man, just give it to Curry. I'd give the LaMelo Ball or who was the kid's name up in Denver? He wants that shot.
Donovan, Mitchell.
Not Mitchell. The guy from the bubble.
Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray wants the ball. He wants it. Luka wants it.
So Cobbs, here's the thing. I thought you just made a very compelling point, but then I think we're deviating from it. So if you just put him on that bench, you're probably not going to grab Curry, even though he's got the best 3-point percentage of everybody on that bench. But I don't think.
What do you define it? What do you think? Who you giving the ball to?
Kobe gets the ball.
It's last second shot.
Kobe gets the ball for everything in my book. But I agree with you.
He's the best shooter of all time.
Right. So, but it's not. But here's the difference between Curry and through a lot of LeBron's career. I argue that Curry does want to take that shot. He hasn't made them, but he does want it. He wants that moment. Clay has made them. Dame Lillard has made them. Whoever else you said on the bench, Jordan has made them. Kobe has made them. LeBron has made them. Okay. Curry does want to take that shot always. I disagree that he doesn't.
I don't think he shies away. I don't think I've seen
LeBron ain't made one since LeBron ain't made one in a long time.
Curry hit a humiliating 3 on LeBron in the championship a few years ago. I mean, like, just demoralized the whole team. When the game was still in the balance. I think he's a clutch player. But like I said, I think Klay Thompson's number gets called because, for one thing, Klay Thompson is 6'7" and he's going to get shut off.
No, but Curry has had some clutch games, man. Like after he came back from his injury and had that huge game in OKC.
No, Trey, they're only talking about the final shot of the game with that. That's what they're talking. Like we have to understand what the context.
Can you be a clutch player and be clutch? Like Curry's clutch.
And that's why I don't understand Jimmy Mack's argument, because LeBron doesn't take the last shot. Think of each champion.
Last week, the point, Rodney. Last week, Zion Williamson down by 1 to the basket. No one got in his way. Straight to the basket. Down by 1. LeBron passed the ball to what was his name? Caruso.
Come on, dude. The defense rest. You give up the ball to give it to Caruso?
It's the right basketball play.
No.
That was horrible. That was absolutely horrible. But so listen, Jimmy, at some point you just come on, because I feel like you're doing a lot of yelling from the sideline.
He's not typing in all caps though. He's not typing in all caps. It's not yelling.
Yeah, no, but I've seen his passion. So listen, you've never heard me argue a single thing about Michael Jordan. So don't get me wrapped. And I have nothing against Michael Jordan. I know he was great, but don't get me wrapped up in that. Here's the thing. And this is what you can't say about the others. Kobe never constructed a team, never put a super team together. You asked a moment ago did he never play with superstars? He played with one. In his whole career, he played with one superstar, Shaquille O'Neal. I don't care what you say about changing the game, Pau Gasol, all that. He's not a superstar. He never was. Even if he does become a Hall of Famer, he wasn't a superstar. He played with one.
Right.
LeBron generally plays with 2.
3.
No, I'm saying he's part of the 3. This is not what I'm saying is Kobe specifically. Yes, I'm going to give it to Kobe because Kobe earned 5 rings and was an integral part of all 5 of those rings, and was moments away from a 6th, which would have been the 5th. I mean, which would have been the 5th, and then he would have wound up with 6. It would have been the 4th because he won 2 more after that. The year that they lost to Boston, 2008, or whatever year that was. So
even with Shaq on the floor, he was hitting the game winner. We
Right.
forget the putback at the buzzers.
No, yeah. I'm with you. What I'm saying is, yes, I
All right.
am going to give the ball to Kobe. Of those people on the bench, I am going to give it to Kobe. So I'm hit it too many times. And I know that he wants it.
Who's
LeBron
clutch right
might
now?
pass it to Caruso.
Who's clutch right now? Jason Tatum, Jamal Murray. Who else wants a shot at the end of the game? Who wants it? Luka.
Dame Lillard.
Dame. Who wants to shoot that ball?
But he wants it.
Tatum shoots them, man. Tatum been shooting games like game saving shots. They
He
stink.
takes
But he
some terrible shots when he does. I'm giving
But
the
he
ball to Lillard or Luka.
All right, so I got a question. So where does clutch rank when you have big playoff games and you come up short? How does that affect your clutchness?
Say it again.
So can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Winning is more important than being clutch. Winning.
So how do we factor in big moments, big games, and you come up short? How does that factor in being clutch and not being clutch? So like if you have a game 6 and you about to get eliminated and you go 3 for 16 and you play like crap, how does that
And you the star, you got to go down shooting.
Yeah, you like Kawhi Leonard and them in
You gotta go down.
the
Yeah, I'm about to say we gotta bring Paul George on to answer this.
So I've got one for you. One of my favorite players, who is literally nobody else's favorite player, is John Starks. And we would not call John Starks a clutch player, but he had some clutch moments.
Big game.
The moment that you remember is him not being able to shoot a beach ball in the ocean in that playoff game. And so he couldn't, his reputation couldn't recover from that, even though he wasn't the star. He wasn't the superstar on a team of one superstar and a whole bunch of complementary pieces. He wasn't that. But if you are looked on to be the guy and you just can't hit, and it's one night, that's one thing. But if you just can't hit ever in the clutch moments, then I think that does taint your clutchness, if you will. That does speak to your legacy.
Well, let's ask the coach in the panel, Lance. You're in a lacrosse game, 1 minute left. You need a goal. Do you leave that to chance, or are you giving it to your dude that you know is gonna come through in the clutch?
Yeah, but no, you definitely gonna go with who you think gonna definitely get you the best chance to win. But also as a coach too, you got to look at who's hot that day too. Because for instance, AC know what a brave heart is. So essentially, a brave heart in lacrosse is when it's overtime. Well, it's a tie game, and they don't want to do overtime, so they do a 1-on-1.
Oh,
2 goalies in the goal.
Oh,
and so I've actually lost the game picking the wrong kid.
You put Curry in it, didn't you? You put Curry in the game, and he lost the game for you.
So I went with the kid who I thought was the best player when I should have went with the kid who's actually winning faceoffs and doing well.
Whoa.
And I lost. You know what I'm saying? So
you can't tell me that Boogie wasn't clutch, even though you're not gonna put him in the face off.
Hey man, listen.
Boom, Boogie was clutch. Boom.
Yeah, I'm not. I just start stuff with you, AC man. I know Curry's clutch as far as carrying a team, being in there for his team to get that spot. I just know he gonna have to make a couple shots so he can get that title. Because what do you remember? You remember the Jordan shot with the fist pump. You remember the push off of Brian Russell. You remember Kobe's daggers. You remember Dame. Wait a minute. You remember Luka's bang bang. You remember those shots?
Yeah.
Curry needs a couple of those.
I'm fine with that.
He needs a couple.
I do also remember. I hear you, but I do also remember Damian Lillard and McCollum not raising a single banner. So that's just something that weighs in my mind. But I got you.
You don't need to be clutch. There are guys who ain't never won championship, but they got some moments that go out in the history of sports.
But I'm saying the opposite. I'm saying because he has been an integral part of those banners, he's had clutch moments. But
he's a dominant player.
I can
2-time MVP.
I can rest it But see, that even doesn't mean anything because so is your boy, Steve Trash Nash, the coach of the Brooklyn, aka Jersey.
He finally came in.
What's up, family? How y'all doing, man?
So
my sweet brother Numsi has forgiven me.
He wanted to jump in this one. It was getting too hot.
No, man. I'm pretty much through with the day with school. Usually at this time I'm grading or I'm doing attendance or something like that. So I got that done early, man. This is a good conversation. Hey, Lance, man. Shouts out to you for the lacrosse stuff. That's big, man, and I would love to see more of our young men get into that. I got a 5'3", 105-pound 10-year-old over here who he don't want to be a lacrosse player. I can tell you that right now. I want to give him a stick, but he ain't gonna do that. But man, shouts out to that, man. That's great to see black people in that. I got a family friend whose son plays for Bosco right now, and he's a heck of a player. So I really enjoy that sport.
Appreciate that. Thanks, man.
It's hockey, but it's not cold. It's perfect.
Oh no, it ain't hockey, man. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Oh, and my wife just said he has a full scholarship to USC already. He's being offered one. Oh, that's Reggie's daughter. Oh, one of our family friends' daughter got a full scholarship to play lacrosse at SC for the women. So yeah, pretty cool.
You said it's not hockey. Real quick, Lance. You said it's not hockey. Real quick, can you elaborate?
It's not hockey, man. One, because it's on ice, but it's just the game's not played like that. It's everybody lumps it in with hockey because it's a stick and a goal, but it's like two completely different games. And then in lacrosse, you actually can use your athleticism to your advantage. But the equalizer is the stick, the skill of the stick. That's the equalizer. So you got the skill of the stick and athleticism. And IQ, I mean, you could be one of the best players. And it's last thing, and it's one of the only games where size and speed really doesn't determine if you can dominate the game or not.
Oh.
So, seeing some of the most athletic guys be some of the best players, and you put them on a So, the equalizer is the stick. That's why a lot of unathletic athletes tend to gravitate to lacrosse. I'll say that. So
Anthony Carter could have played that game. He broke his foot. He broke his foot on the Peloton.
He broke his foot on the Peloton. So listen, I had scholarship offers to HBCUs, but I didn't want to leave home, and I wanted to become a journalist at UCLA so that I could give equal time to the black athletes and the women. So I think I did. I think I made the right.
So you turned down your Marble scholarship.
See you later. I actually had a scholarship to Hampton. How about
You broke that foot. You broke the foot signing your letter of intent. You was going to sign your letter of intent, tripped over your toothbrush, and you had to renege on your offer. Oh,
that is tripped over my toothbrush. That's funny. See you later, Elaine. Thanks for coming through. Hey,
I gotta run too, fellas. Peace out.
All right. Peace out. Yep. So this is the Collective Podcast. This is episode 51. We are 1 week away from the 1 year anniversary. What a day. We had Lance Carter on from Baltimore, Maryland, Baltimore Lacrosse Elite, Harlem Lacrosse, Black Slacks, Hampton University. Rodney might correct me and say something else, but clearly he's being nice today, so he's not. Rodney usually bangs for Howard, but today he didn't say anything. We had Rylan Hugh on from Long Island, New York, not to be confused with upstate New York, another lacrosse legend. So that's two in one day, and we'd never had one before. Rylan, University of Maryland, All-American, I think second black All-American in lacrosse behind Jim Brown. So if you think about it, Rodney had a chance because, Rodney picked up a stick back in the late 1800s. And if he would have just stuck with it, he might have been the first black All-American, even before Jim Brown. But so we obviously have Lance on. We had Rylan on. Cobbs came on to hang with us. Jimmy Mack was all riled up, and now he's me. So we appreciate that. He's just going to blend in and give us his closeout. So that's exciting. But listen, this is a forum where we just want to, it's friends and inviting other people into their conversation, and we debate things. And Elaine doesn't want to talk clutch anymore, but it's so much fun to just go over that clutch topic because it's all subjective. It's a lot of fun, and we have fun, and hopefully we give you some informative stuff. I've got some big things planned for next week for our 1 year anniversary. We're going to do a lyrical breakdown of Microphone Fiend. So do your homework. That's Rakim, youngsters. If you guys don't know who that is, we're going to do Microphone Fiend. And we're going to have Kriston Johnson on, and we're going to have Art Thompson III on. So that'll be a good one. Don't know if our co-hosts are going to come on. But listen, we just appreciate you all watching. And if anybody's watching the replay, thank you. You can still comment. Let us know where you're checking in from. Also, we'd like for you to like, comment, and subscribe or follow the podcast wherever you're viewing it or listening to it, whether it be Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, or Periscope, or listening to it on Apple Music or Anchor or Spotify. We appreciate you. All right. That being said, we've now come to the time. Well, you guys have anything else?
No, I'll wait till the closeout.
Okay. You heard it here first. I give up. I don't know who I have in the West, but I definitely don't have the Lakers anymore. I don't know what's happening. I don't think they could beat GS. I don't think they could beat GS. I still have Philly. And I guess I don't mind if Philly wins because I like Doc Rivers, and I think that this will validate him as a phenomenal coach because he has a lot of knocks. They don't think he's clutch because he lost some 3-1 leads. But he also beat the Lakers, and I hated that, but I like him. So, yeah, a lot going on in football. I think the 49ers can win the Super Bowl next year or not make the playoffs. Free agency matters. I know Jimmy Mack hates the 49ers. I get it. I'm sorry. I love them, but I won't talk a lot about them because you're on, so we can move on from that. Please tune in next week. Again, listen, you guys, a lot of you are watching, but you're not hitting the like button. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, follow. We appreciate you. Now we've come to the closeout. We're going to let Jimmy Mack, guest host, go first. Give us your closeout thoughts, 1 minute or less. Go.
Right now, we're getting close to that time where we might be opening up society. Everybody getting their shots. I'm scheduled to take my shot tomorrow. So let's get out there and let's be responsible. We're watching, Texas and Mississippi just fully open up. I think that's kind of a bad idea if everybody isn't fully vaccinated. But let's go out there and let's try to get this done. I know everybody's tired of being cooped up in the house and, want to get it back out to their regular lives. But let's make sure that we do it in a safe and sound manner and a responsible manner. That's what I got to say.
Thank you. TZ, the closeout is where you just essentially give your parting thoughts. Normally it's 1 minute or less, but man, you can take as much time as you want. Just give us something.
Yeah, one, just thank you. Appreciate you guys having me on the show. This was awesome. Tell my story and ask some great questions. So I appreciate you guys for having me on. I just say, just be positive, just have a positive mindset in life right now. I think right now I'm in a good point in my life. But I'm trying new things, trying to push through, trying to get to a quote unquote next level. Keep trying to recreate myself and recreate opportunities for myself. So it's important to, continue to believe in things that you want to accomplish, regardless of what state you are in life or how old you are and what your situation is. It can always be better. It's important to, have a good team, good crew, a good circle around you. To keep building off that and, keep striving for the best. So that's what I got. Positive energy.
Wow. Thank you for that. Thank you also for coming on and sharing your story. Thank you for what you did here in California. And hopefully you can send some people back here, that have come up under you to help out some more because there's always work to do out here. And thank you for what you do there. Like it's important to keep lacrosse blooming, and it's important to keep lacrosse blooming in our community because not enough people know about it, not enough people are associated and affiliated with it in our community. So people like you keep it going, and I just want to say thank you for that. Thank you for all you do and the people around you, all that the people around you do. At some point, I'm going to let Trey go last, but Rodney keeps showing up before him. So, Trey. See, he even missed his prompt. Trey.
Here we go. No, I thought I had a bad connection or something. I thought I had a bad connection.
Yeah.
Lance Carter.
He's even late to his prompt. Go ahead, Trey.
Thanks for coming on, brother. Great to hear your story and what you've been through and everything. And I like the way you said positive energy, and you're a true testament of that you have positive energy for still dealing with AC after he refed your game and made those controversial calls. I get it. But yeah, man, like Jimmy was saying, it's too soon. Let's all get vaccinated. I've had mine. I'm glad you're getting yours tomorrow. Jim, my brother had his. AC had his. If you can get it, get it. Stay positive, man. Stay safe. Try to stay away from Texas if you can. Cause, you know what I mean? If they want to open up like that, let's just, let's not travel there right now. You know what I mean? But that's it, man. Just it was a great show today, man. Excited about next week. Can't wait for that to be 1 year anniversary, man. That's a good thing. All of us brothers on here, doing something positive and to lasting for a year and a good turnout. Appreciate all of y'all brothers, man.
Yeah, thank you for that. And just to hop on Trey's statement there, beware of Texas and Mississippi. Or Mississippi, however you pronounce it. I say Mississippi, but some people do say Mississippi. They opened up too, Texas and Mississippi today. So beware. Anybody listening or watching from Texas or Mississippi, blessings to you and thank you for watching from afar. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I actually got a
I learned this today too. Did I say it right? Baltimore. So if I said it right. Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I think I might have to tell folks where are you from? From Baltimore, man. You
say it like that, they'll definitely believe you.
Let me tell you, before today, I was one of the ones that said Baltimore.
Before today, yeah.
But I will be saying Baltimore now. Okay.
Yeah, there are a couple of places, a couple of cities where you don't know if you don't know, right? Like Louisville. Nah, they say Louisville. Yeah, and then obviously Baltimore. And listen, if you watch The Wire and you paid attention, then you could catch that because 90% of the people in The Wire are actually they still live in Baltimore. Like it's not a joke. Like they did a great job of I think they did a great job of casting it. What do you think, Lance?
That's still my favorite show to this day. I've probably seen the whole 5 series, probably 5 series probably like 10 times. I watched it like 3 times over the quarantine. But yes, that was still my favorite show to this day. So absolutely.
So thank you for that. Shout out to The Wire. It's amazing. I watched it again during the quarantine. So that was only my second time watching it, but it was watching a wonderful 5 seasons again. It wasn't new to me again, but it was exciting again. The Wire is amazing. So much. It's crazy. So much Baltimore, Maryland on this podcast today. So much a little DMV. Yeah, that's what I should say. So much of that region. So let's go with that. Got a little Virginia. Got a lot of Maryland because Rodney went to Howard. Rylan obviously went to the University of Maryland. We've got Lance here from Baltimore and also, by extension, Hampton, Virginia. So, this was rich. I think that we did a great job of bringing something to the viewers and listeners that they hadn't seen and heard before. So definitely appreciate that. And then, my brother Jimmy here, I lived across the street from Bret Hart. He went to Bret Hart, so shout out to Jimmy. All right, Rod, what you got? What you
Hey,
got?
man, real quick, can we get like a quick silence for Irv Cross, man? The first to ever do it as a sports analyst in the game. Right on. Appreciate that. I grew up on him on NBC. Loved him. Loved his commentary, what he brought to the game, man. And like I said, he was a pioneer. No one did it before. No African Americans did it before him. Secondly, just want to thank Jimmy Mack for finally coming through, and not just in the comment section. He got out of school early. He's like Racer X. So we know he's there, but we can't see him.
Yeah. always hiding behind that brown fist. Did we lose Rod?
Yeah, he's
I think we lost Rod.
And I'm glad Lance is in there when he is right now, because the population in his city is expanding. The real estate is jumping through the roof. They're like tearing down a lot of stuff. When I was there last year, they tore down a lot, rebuilding, which means that more money is coming to the city, which means that he's gonna actually get eventually some players that's coming from backgrounds where they can afford to do things and help out his cause. And that's going to do more for the game and for our people as a whole. So this is the perfect time for him to be in the spot where he is. I'm proud of that. Want to give a quick shout out to the officials who got selected for the NBA All-Star game. We got 3 HBCU grads on the game for the first time ever. Tom Washington, Tony Brown, and Courtney Kirkland been selected for the NBA All-Star game. That's the first. I love the direction that some of these pro sport executives are going in with trying to, even if it's for the wrong reason or if it's for the right reason. Because race is a hot button issue right now, they're really pushing to just throw us something, I guess. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's throwing us a bone to keep our mouth shut. And then sometimes in certain situations, I feel like it's really genuine and that they really want to insert us and build us up. And I struggle with trying to figure out which is which in certain situations. But and it's rough for me personally because I feel like this is 2021 and we still haven't first for Black people. I mean, constantly we having a first, and this stuff should have been done a long time ago. And that lets us know how far we have to go as a people, you know, as a society. We have to get rid of this stuff, and keep it moving forward. But with that being said, man, I can't wait till next week, the 52nd 1-year anniversary show. Hope everybody be safe. We got Reverend Leon Lonnie Love running Texas and running to Cancun and staying warm while everybody else is freezing. I hope people are remembering who's doing what in their state, documenting it and knowing who to vote for when the election comes, knowing who to put pressure on when, you know, you want something for your area. Because we got a new president, but it, like I said before, it means absolutely nothing if we don't get any legislation that supports us. That's the key. It has to be in black and white. We don't need to hear somebody else making promises or throwing a few crumbs here and there to say they did something. We need something in ink that's gonna stick. So with that being said, man, you guys be safe. Have a great weekend.
Thanks for that, Rod. Hey, so Anthony Cobb said talk about the refs last night. I'm not sure what he's talking about. Is he talking about the Warriors game, or is he talking about something else?
No, you're probably talking about what Donovan Mitchell was talking about. Anybody know what his fine is? Because he kind of gave it to
we talked about the officials?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't know.
He said, usually I don't say nothing, but I think he's going to get hit with probably $100,000 fine.
Okay. Shout out. Shout out to the officials for making. No, I don't know. I don't know what happened, so I don't know. But so check this out. So one thing that I do disagree with Rodney about is the absolute, the term when he's absolute with it means nothing if. Now, it means a lot less if we don't get what we're asking for and if we don't get it clearly defined, like he says in black and white. I do agree with that. I do agree that it means a lot less, but my argument now is way different than it's ever been. Like, that shit that we just left was so bad that if nothing got done, we're better off. And I'm not saying that that's what I'm hoping for, but we were going in the other direction, right? So if nothing gets done, it's better than us going down the hole that we were going down. Like, because you saw that shit continued on January 6th, and then the Capitol is closed today again because of these threats coming from being incited by the motherfucker that was running this country for the last 4 years. But I'm with you that I want what you want. I'm just saying I don't agree that it means nothing at all if we don't get it all. But that's the only place we divide.
Yeah, I get you.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to share this because Trey asked earlier what was on my hoodie. And it's funny because I think to say that I'm not the biggest fan of this guy would be an understatement because I'm actually not a fan at all. But my buddy Simeon just, put together this hoodie, and this is the picture that's on there. And it means something to most Laker fans because, championships, right? But this is not my guy. But this is what's on the hoodie, Trey.
Oh, wait. Oh, sweet.
I like that picture. That's nice.
Good, yes.
Yeah, I do like it. And it doesn't mean, like, just for clarity, I'm declaring it doesn't mean I'm a LeBron James fan, but obviously you guys know that I'm a Kobe fan.
I like that. When you got shoulders that big, you should be clutch.
Hey, why does it always seem that you have to be one or the other? Why you can't be a fan of both? It just seems like
no. But okay, so be clear. I said most Laker fans probably are. I know that you can be, right? Because Kobe, I'm a fan of Kobe. I'm actually a big fan of Steph. I don't want Steph to win a championship over the Lakers or anything like that. But I'm a fan of people. I was a fan of John Starks. I'm just not a fan of LeBron James. And it's the problem comes in, Jimmy Mack, in that he is the leader of my Lakers team. So I'm not against him because he's here. And I cheer for the team, but I'm just not a LeBron fan. But you could be fans of other people, right? You could be a fan of Jordan. I wasn't. I appreciate what Jordan did, but I didn't want Jordan to win. I wanted him to win until he won. Like, I wanted him to beat Detroit, but then when that same season he beat the Lakers, that was a problem. Okay? That was a problem for me. I wanted Detroit to beat Boston, but when they beat the Lakers that same season, no, they beat him the second time. No, they beat him the first time. When they beat him the second time. When they beat the Lakers, oh yeah, because then we didn't go, and then they won again because they won back to back. Yeah. When they beat the Lakers, I didn't want that, right? So love Isaiah Thomas and what he did, but I didn't want him to win. So that's the thing. Like, I'm a fan of certain people. I was a fan of Paul Pierce as much as I could be with him being in Boston just because he was from Inglewood. He's from here. He's from the house. But I don't like the Celtic court that he built in the backyard and all that. Like, and green was one of my favorite colors. I hate the Celtics. So yes, you can be a fan of both. I'm not saying that you can't, and I have no problem with people being fans of LeBron. It's just not me. It just never has been, and it's no knock on him. I'm just never a fan of LeBron James. I think early on it's funny that we talk about the clutch thing with him passing off in clutch situations when he was clearly the superstar. when he was the chosen one, it probably, was off-putting for me. And then our relationship never recovered from that.
So you rather somebody try and fail than to make the right play and that fails too. So you rather see the person just shoot the ball and fail than instead of making the right basketball play and fail.
Well,
I think you kind of dicing it pretty close there.
So I love how you try to oversimplify that and call it the right basketball play.
If I'm getting double teamed and I throw the ball to the open man and he missed the shot, that's not a bad.
Inside of the circle, 5 feet from the
basket. But it's still a tough shot. It's still a tough shot. If you're inside the circle, you got 2 or 3 people guarding you and contesting your shot. That's a tough shot. If you pass it to the open man, the man is open. I mean, when I coach girls basketball, that's what I told them. If you're penetrating and somebody attacks you while you're in the paint, yeah, you're closer, but there's a difficult shot. Pass it to the open person. Whoever the person is in guarding, find that person so they can take the open shot. That's the easier shot. Let
me ask you this. You remember the situation where Ray Allen hit the shot at the end of the game when LeBron played for the Heat?
Yeah.
Do you remember the play right before that? The series of plays right before that?
Yeah, what happened?
You remember LeBron going to the basket, was 4 feet away from the basket, and tried to throw this weird lob to Chris Bosh, who was being guarded in the paint, and then
everybody make mistakes. Magic held the ball and let the clock run down.
No.
So everybody makes mistakes.
I didn't say that's not what we're talking about.
I'm just saying, if you make a bad play, you make a bad play. Bad play is a bad play.
That was a play
or a pass.
That was a play. That was a play to win the game. They had an extra second when he did it, so it got knocked to Ray Allen.
How many points did LeBron have before that shot was made? He scored the last 13 points before that shot was even made. Without those 13 points, they're not even in it.
Listen, it's time for my
closeout. Big shots. Does he make big shots?
Everybody closed out.
Definitely. He definitely makes big shots.
So he
does not want to. He does not want.
I just think the criticism is just too much. I get we like who we like. I'm not a big LeBron fan, but I see what I see, and I'm just like, wow, the criticism is kind of crazy. I'd rather Kobe take a shot over 4 people and miss than to pass to the open man.
Because that's crazy.
Let's be clear.
Kobe doesn't have any shooters. That open man can't make shots. Walton and Devin George.
It's still the fundamental thing. If there's 4 people guarding me, and there's 3 other people open.
Jimmy, how many game winners did Derek Fisher have?
He had that one over San Antonio.
No. A lot.
He had that one over San Antonio where the play wasn't even drawn up for Kobe. The ball went straight to Fisher and he hit the shot.
This is what I'm saying.
How many for Ori?
No, this is what I'm saying.
How many for so many people?
You're missing the point.
I'm not missing the point.
Right play.
I'm just using your point.
No, you're not, because I haven't made my point.
It doesn't make sense.
You're not. You haven't let me make my point.
Okay, then make your point.
With Kobe passing it to him, he trusted Fisher. Fisher could hit, or he could hit. Beyond those 2, you didn't have shooters that could hit. But here's the other point. You just said you're not the biggest fan of LeBron James. I said I'm not the biggest fan of LeBron James. Why can't we just move on from there? You asked me to justify why I'm not a fan of LeBron James. I'm just not.
I didn't judge you to justify. I'm just saying it seems like we're making it to where, okay, he made a play, it didn't work, so he's running away from a shot when that's the right play to make. Magic made that play. Bird made that play. Jordan made that play twice, to Kerr once and to Paxson another time. But they hit the shot, so it's great. But when the guys miss it, it's bad.
So I think what you're missing, because it obviously came from Magic Johnson, is there's a mentality.
Who's my GOAT?
Right. There's a mentality of always deferring in that clutch moment versus making the right play. And I think that early in LeBron's career, there was a lot of, this is my mentality. I am a very giving person. I am going to defer to someone else, even though I'm the superstar. Mentality versus making the right play are 2 very different things.
But factually, he took more clutch shots and made more clutch shots at a higher percentage than everybody else that we say is clutch. Those are the facts.
Not early in his career, which is what
it's his career. So we're gonna break it down. So his first 3 years, so his last 3 years,
early and not late. Because the times when he stopped doing
we're splitting hairs here.
He's also missed more than all of them. He's taken more than all. Yes, he has.
And he's hit at a higher percentage still.
He's played.
He still had a higher percentage.
He's also played more minutes than everybody. Yes, okay, he's played more minutes than everybody.
And he still barely hasn't even taken more shots than everybody either. To say that he played more minutes when he hasn't even taken, he's 18 years in and he just finally passed Jordan on shots. Jordan played 15 years. He finally passed. No, he hasn't even passed Kobe on shots yet. So, I mean, I think we're splitting hairs.
Played 20 years.
I mean, I love the game. I love watching everybody play. I love the conversations about it. I just think when we come to criticism, we're not consistent with our criticism. We'll take one thing that we use to praise somebody else and then use it against the other person to say that they're not doing something.
But I don't think people should have to justify not being a fan of LeBron.
I didn't actually justify. I just said it doesn't make sense that we're splitting hairs where we'll make a criticism about somebody and then we'll use that same argument to praise somebody else. That's just the thing. It's just a lot of criticism that I think is just passive aggressive criticism because I don't like him. I don't like Larry Bird, but I think he's one of the greatest. I think Larry Bird's better than LeBron.
Oh Lord.
Oh my God.
My wife just said,
right.
"Oh Lord."
Oh my God. All right.
Yeah,
so
this could go on forever.
Listen, Jimmy, much like Trey, is generally like behind the scenes. So I'm glad that Jimmy joined us, even if it was only for 20 minutes. Thank you. You got to come back, Jimmy. You got to come back because this has been great. Lance, once again, thank you for coming. I don't know when I'll be on that side of town, but when I get on that side of town, you got to show me your town, man, because I've been there a lot, but without you. So I haven't really seen what I needed to see and be more. My closeout, listen, once again, everybody be as safe as you can. And just do your research and determine whether or not the vaccine is right for you. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm saying just be well educated. Trey is right. Yes, I am fully vaccinated. He's fully vaccinated. Other people are. And then some people just decide that they don't want to be. Hey, just be as safe as you can, and do your research. Please wear masks. Please keep 6 feet. And please pray for our children and our teachers since schools are opening back up. Please pray. My daughter my 3-year-old has been in school. Like she's been in school for like 3 months now. And so I'm hoping people keep her in the prayers. One of her teachers actually did wind up with COVID-19, probably in on like February 1st. So she didn't go back to school until February 15th. Like they had 2 weeks off per the protocol. So please just keep them in your prayers. And you know what? To Jimmy's point, and I don't disagree with this. So I need to say this. There are plenty of people who say, "Oh, it's Jordan or Kobe or Jordan or LeBron," and I think you can be a fan of multiple people who are alike. Like I'm not a fan of LeBron, but I'm a fan of obviously Kobe and Magic and Kareem and John Starks and Tim Hardaway and Alonzo Mourning and the list goes on, and Charles Oakley, and the list goes on, and Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and no, not at all. I'm definitely not a fan of him. Draymond Green, and you're a fan of who you're a fan of. But it's not like I'm out protesting Lakers games because I don't like LeBron, because I don't dislike him. I'm just not. He's just like anybody else. Like like James Harden. I don't dislike him. I'm not a fan of him, and he's from here. So shit. I'm not necessarily a fan of Russ, and he's a Bruin. I used to like him, but he's a weird dude. So I don't know. Anyway, be safe. Thank you. This is episode 51. Next week, episode 52. At least KJ and Art. We don't know who else will be on, but at least for sure, at a minimum, we have KJ and Art. And then on 3/18, we got the legendary Scoop Jackson coming through. All right. Thank you all. We appreciate you. This is episode 51, and you could have been anywhere in the world, but you decided to spend this time with us. We appreciate that. All right. If you're watching the replay, go ahead and leave some comments. And like I said, like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate you. We're out.
Later, fellas.
Peace
out. Brother. Hey, man, I'll be there for y'all 100 show, man. I'm going to be in the background. I'll be Racer X.
All right, man.
Hey, see? Send me that Send me Cinnamons Connect on how I can get that sweatshirt. Because
All right.
let me see that picture again. So, you know, Kobe's. It looks like that's the Black Lives Matter. I mean, not Black Lives Matter. The Black History Month.
I know. I'm trying to do the countdown, but he's still talking. So hold on, Trey. Let me do this countdown.